Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora, and this is the Awakening Path Show, the place where you come to expand your consciousness. Today, I have a very special guest with me. It's someone that's very, very dear to my heart, a friend that I met 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, at the Conscious Life Expo. And we have been talking and exchanging services. And I can tell you that he played an important role on my healing and awakening process. He is an author. He's also a hypnotherapist. And he wrote a book that's really expanded my awareness about subconscious, about intuition. And I would say that's kind of one go place to learn about intuition. But I'm gonna invite Happy Ali in and have him talk a little bit more about his book, about what are his plans for the near future. He's moving in another step. Be I'm sorry, let's just admit Happy, and I know you're gonna love him. Hi, Happy.
Hello.
Welcome to the Awakening Path.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm very, very happy to see you here, to have you here with me today. You are an extraordinary being, an extraordinary person. I think I would put you in the top 10 person that I know in person.
Wow, that's really, really sweet of you to say. I am
Yeah,
very,
I
very flattered.
know a lot of good people and very driven people. But the reason why I feel this way is because you did something that I don't know any other human being on the planet that you decided to do that. I hope you are okay to talk about that because this really defines the person that you are. You
Sure.
decided,
I don't even know what you're talking about, but sure.
you decided to become a single dad.
Yes. And I gotta say, there's many other
Person
people who
on
do it,
earth
but
would
not
do
that many.
that. Why
Yes.
decided to do that? And it's an unusual way to start a podcast, but you guys won't understand why I'm so bound down to happy.
I I want to say that it was my idea, but it really I have to credit my son who passed away for my children because I had a son that died and I am a prophetic dreamer. So I dream things in advance or I can communicate with dead people basically in my dreams very clearly. Sometimes when I'm awake, but my son, after he died, he immediately, within a week, he was 4.5, by the way. Within a week, he started showing up and telling me that I was going to have another child. And I really did not want to have another kid. I thought the pain of losing one child was hard enough. So I really didn't want to have more children. That was not the plan. I had a daughter and she was already traumatized by being in an accident with her mother and brother and watching them die. And I was like, no more children, no more. And I was just in school. I got into UCLA the day after he died and I didn't have money, and you need to have a surrogate, a donor, lawyers, so much money it was involved. But my son kept showing me my new kids, or maybe my new kids kept showing up and showing themselves. And basically, it was more like I was talked into it very gradually to where I was really didn't feel like I had an option. And and I had a hole in my heart. So I think all of that together helped. And then the money just happened to come together. It just showed up out of nowhere. And I took a leap of faith and I said, you know what? If it's meant to be, I'm going to try one time. If it's meant to be, and this soul, I thought it was one, was meant to be here, then it will be easy because when you're aligned with your soul's path, everything is easy.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're listening really well. And then it was just effortless. And then a year and a half later, I had my twins. And after that, it was hard. The beginning was really easy. The process was very simple. And I can't believe it. I talked to other parents, other people who've done it, because I'm not the only one who's done it. Many other people who can't have children or don't want to
You're
get
the
married.
only one that I know.
Yeah. So, but it is a lot of work to have children. And I don't regret a moment of it. I just know my career would be way more advanced without children because you could travel and do things. But I love coming home and just having them just crawl on top of me and just tell me, and we just love each other.
I'm not sure about that. For example, I have two children and a husband, and I'm in a place on my spiritual awakening that sometimes people gonna think that's weird. Sometimes I'm just laying down and relax, and I feel that my leg is in another dimension. I know it's there somewhere. If I touch it, it will just bring to the third D, but it's like I'm in between, and I can see that my children and my husband, they keep me grounded here.
They
So
do, and it's good
that's
because spiritual
okay.
people tend to live in another dimension or want to be in somewhere else, but we need grounding. Grounding is so important. So I think that's a really big thing. I think that's why my children came. They're twins and they're opposites. One has like a bad eyesight on one eye, and the other one has bad eyesight on the other eye. One likes carbs, one likes proteins. They're like completely different, and I think us three create a very balanced sense of existence together because it is just the three of us. But I think spiritual people need grounding all the time because we
Yeah.
tend to want to live up here, and guess what? When your soul dies or when your body dies, wherever your soul is, it's already up there. And then we come down here, we have our spiritual awakening, we want to go back up there. But I guess our soul really wanted us to be here. So we want to balance being here and being there at the same time and
And we
not be,
came here for the work, and the work is here, it's not there.
no, or otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Exactly. So let's get to know a little bit more about happy. How happened your spiritual awaken? You always been kind of having those weird dreams, or there was a time that things really escalated?
Well, my near death experience in 1995 was what kind of catapulted me into the spiritual world. Before that, I had some beliefs, but it was very vague and I was raised religious. But I had a near death experience when I was 17 and I didn't die, fortunately. And when I woke up in the morning, I woke up with so much knowledge, so much information, and I could not make sense of how I could know so much overnight because I went to sleep one person and woke up another person. And I think that kind of shook my world to where I understood that there's more to life than the physical world and there is an internal world. I mean, I learned so much in that night, but it was really hard to articulate it all at once. So it slowly would come out every day as I would write stuff down or have conversations. And I would basically, I guess I lost a lot of friends immediately because when you wake up a new person, you don't resonate on the same frequency as the other people anymore. So they kind of leave and new people come. And that was the beginning where I really truly knew there was more and there's energy and there's karma and you have to clean up your act here on this earth and you're here for transformation. You're here to change your perspective on life if you want to have a good life and in order to be happy. There was so much that I learned in one night. So that was the beginning. And then after a couple of years, because I would refuse to read any books because I thought I want to just get out what it is coming through me as in as pure of a way as possible. So after a few years, kind of the well dried up, and I started seeking other spiritual beliefs. And I would kind of there was a bookstore in Los Angeles called the Bodhi Tree, and it's the 90s. So there wasn't the internet wasn't mature enough to be able to just Google anything. So I would go in there and just grab whatever book would call to me and just read and read. And then I studied the Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism for about 8 years solid. Then learn about the law of attraction through Esther Hicks. And when I learned that, that was when everything changed, because the teachings of Abraham were very close to the teachings that I was downloaded, over a decade prior. So because of that, I it kind of reawakened my old belief system. Also, in the beginning, I was 17 and I wanted to teach all this stuff, and people said no one's going to listen to a 17-year-old anyway. So I kind of just decided to live by example. And then it was not until I started dreaming. My One of my childhood best friend's mother passed in 17. I don't know exactly how many years ago. It was a while ago. I'm guessing around I don't know how many years ago. But that was the first death dream that I had, a prophetic dream where I dreamt of someone dying and then they died. And then my dreams would foretell so much. I learned that I was a prophetic dreamer, just like a lot of my family members, but I really mine had a timer on it. Like I dreamt the birth of my son, I dreamt the death of my son, I just dreamt the death of that same friend whose mom I dreamt, the very first one. Her dad just died like 3 days ago. And I dreamt his death 2 weeks ago. And I called her up and I said, hey, I think your dad has got a very limited time on earth. So just want to give you a heads up. And she's very open to it. I wouldn't say that to just anybody.
Yes.
And so I'm a prophetic dreamer, but I'm also an intuitive. And then that's kind of how it started. But I have about 29 years of metaphysical studies under my belt. And I think that I'm connected to something greater, and sometimes it just comes through me. I wrote a book called the Intuition Bible that I wasn't planning on writing, that came out last year this time. And that book was not really my idea. It was downloaded to me mostly. And it found its own publisher, and it did everything that it kind of needed to do to come to life. And then I had another book that I wrote much, much, much long ago. It was a long time ago, but didn't have the courage to publish it. So I published it when I became a full-time coach and a hypnotherapist. And
Let's
so
talk
that's my
about,
story. That's my story.
yes, I love it. Let's talk about the hypnotherapy. I
Mhm.
met you at the Conscious Life Expo in 2022. That
It
was
was
the
2 years
second
ago,
one,
right?
2023.
Yeah, it
Was
was 2 years ago,
2023.
2.5 years ago.
And you were doing one workshop and you had a little session of hypnosis, and I was there and I was tapping in a trauma, childhood trauma that I wasn't really never paying attention to it. And recently we exchanged the service and I did. Can you explain what you did for me so people have an idea? And then I'm going to explain what was the effect that I just found out yesterday.
Well, I know I just did that session with you. I did the group therapy, hypnotherapy during
Yes.
the Conscious Life Expo when I led that workshop. But, group therapy or group hypnotherapy is not quite the same as individual. And
No.
what I do is usually I have people bring in some questions that they have about themselves, about their lives, about their limitations, about what they need to do in their lives to be more successful, what their blockages are. And then what I do is I take them as deep as they can go. And everyone is different on what level they'll allow me to take them. And basically bring in the wisest version of them, their higher self, their super conscious, subconscious, whatever you want to call it. And that version of them will answer those questions from a very different perspective than their usual perspective, because usually they're more limited in thinking. And when you tap into the soul, there is no limitation. There's no fear. There's no anxiety. There's no worry about how things are going to turn out. So the advice that usually comes through is very powerful. And I remember with you, you said no one's ever been able to take you deep, and you don't really verbally channel. And I was like, I'm going to get you to verbally speak. And we were able to do that. And we got some really good answers. And it was funny because it is funny because most people, because we're linked to the same soul vibration, have very similar answers when they come into that space and when they are channeling their higher self. It's almost like everyone's the same person in some way or another. And it's amazing because you realize that we all come from love, unconditional love, and a world of compassion and exploration. And everyone's so loving in that state, and everyone's so calm and so like, this is no big deal, they'll deal with it. That, you know, it's very interesting that how everybody pretty much says the same thing. And I love that because it shows me that there's a universal truth when you tap into your higher self. And that's what I try to teach when you're not even in hypnosis. Because I call it soul tapping. It's when you tap into your soul on a regular basis to get information and guidance to navigate through life.
Amazing. That was a very interesting experience. And I will just open up a little bit because there was a change that we foresee on the session that I want to share with you. And I didn't told you yet, I'm telling to everybody now. One of the question was, I already channel and I can channel any consciousness out of space and time, including galactics. And I'm being inspired or kind of foretold that I will be working very closely with the galactics. So I was kind of waiting to literally see them or become telepathic in a way that my idea of telepathy was someone that you can only see with your third eye or not see at all is speaking to you with another voice. I know that I always in constant communication with my guides, my higher self, the higher self of my clients, and I can see clear when are they talking, where are their thoughts and not mine. But I thought that I wanted to be telepathic. I need to be telepathic in the sense that I need to hear them with their own voice. Many people would run away from that. That's what I wanted. So I'm not telepathic yet. I'm just a channel through automatic writing and a very intuitive. And yes, after the session, we were talking about that is she's already telepathic, she's already in contact, she has everything she wants, but she wants more tangible, she wants more physical, more. She'll get that, even though it's not necessary. She'll get there, but she already have. And so, anyway, a friend of mine has been talking to me into try telepathic sessions with galactics in a while. And the day after our session, I decided to give it a try and I scheduled for yesterday. And making the story short, I end up channeling through telepathy 3 galactics.
Wow.
2 Pleiades and 1 Sirian. And one of the Pleiades is that was the first guide that came to me, and he has been with me since birth. And he's the other version of myself. We both have the same oversoul. And it's the same with the Syrian, the one from Syria. So I channeled them and I realized, hey, wait a minute. I was already telepathic. I just didn't know that. I wasn't calling that. And I don't really need to write everything.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
and that was so quick because I knew there would be a change and it's very interesting because it's not that I gained something that I didn't had yet. What the shift was just the awareness.
Well, of course, and also belief change. There was a belief shift that I
Yeah.
have this already. That, you know, once you believe, once you know, and you then you open up more. Also, you know, people's ideas of telepathy is so different, you know. Some people just their skill isn't to hear an actual voice, it's just to know. Like I'm claircognizant. So when I receive information, it's just like a knowing. Like all of a sudden there's 10 ideas in my head. And
Mhm.
I don't really call myself telepathic in any way, but that's how I receive. So I receive it either through physical sensation or I just know, like information that I didn't know 5 minutes ago. And I mean, technically, I guess you can call that telepathy too. I mean, in my book, the Intuition Bible, I talked about learning your clairs, seeing what your superpowers are for internal superpowers, like your super hearing or super internal hearing, internal knowing, whatever it is. And once you learn that, that's going to be your path of least resistance. But I like your method of taking a leap and just doing it and trusting it and just being it, because I don't have that level of what did it say, bravery. I don't just
Okay.
jump
That's
into it.
what I, when I walk my dog comes the best ideas ever. And the idea I got today when I was walking him, including you.
Oh,
So
what?
what I realize is I'm already telepathic. I knew that I could talk to any entity, any galactic, anytime. There was none that I asked to come forth and refuse so far. If they do, there is a reason for that. But anyway, what are you gonna do for 40 days? I will tape myself asking, I will choose one, ask a question, and have them reply, and I will record it. But I will
Great
do this for
idea.
myself first.
That's a great idea. That's amazing.
And I know that you also, for me, it would be like a channeling through telepathy. And Carol Morgan, she channeled the Blue Avian, oh my goodness, I forgot. Zin Allen, I forgot the last name, I don't know why. But anyway, she does that through telepathy. She doesn't go in trance.
Yeah, but channeling and in being in trance is telepathy. You're receiving
Yes,
information. So I think
yes,
this
they
is
are
there are
both.
just words that we use that describe things differently. When somebody's in any way, form, receiving information from somewhere else and is speaking it and communicating it, that's telepathic communication. Telepathic means you're receiving it wirelessly from mind to mind. That's
Yeah,
all that it is. And how it happens is very different. So it's a very broad term. So I really think that all channels are telepathic, because how the heck would you communicate with something else? You just,
yes,
the
that's true.
trance part, when you go into trance, you're just tuning in your frequency in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? So some people can tune in without being in trance, and some people will, it's easier for them to really get deep and quiet everything so they can tune in. But some people just can tune into multiple stations at once. I mean, you did it. You tuned into different frequencies because you received multiple people. In order to receive multiple extraterrestrial energies that speak through you, you have to switch your channel. You
Yes,
can't
and looks
speak to each
like I have
person
that
the same.
ability to do it very quick.
I want to do that so bad. And with all the books
Okay,
I've written
that's
and all the
where
things
the
I've
idea
done,
comes to. Sorry, I was speaking. That's where the idea comes through. There is something that happens in your subconscious when you do something for 40 days straight. And I know that I'm sorry, I don't know if you want to say that alive, but I know you channel Archangel Jeremiah.
that I believe so. Yes. So that's what I heard in my head.
Yes. And in your case, it's kind of different. That would be like a trans channel. And you say, oh no, I don't want to put myself up there. Or what if he doesn't come? And there is so many things that come to our head. Why I do by myself, you do the same. You ask questions, just like if you were doing for other people, but you do just for yourself and record. And then we're gonna exchange. And during those 40 days, if you'd like, we can come together and we just exchange. And in the end of 40 days, if that's really true that you, when you do something for 40 days, you got a confidence, something really shift in your mind, and then we come back here and then we do those channeling exchanging. Are you
I
going to
would, that sounds really fun to
serve
do.
me?
And I would probably do that after October. But I have a big event coming up, as you know. And I'm all my nighttime thoughts are really about my event and what I'm doing and because I have kids. So and I do my meditations, but I like to stay focused on one thing at a time. But I do want to do that. That sounds really, really good. But I don't know if I can commit to 40 days at this time because my brain is working very hard trying to get things done and organizing things. And I'm sure if I do that, I would get some really good insight from my talk and from my event.
You get a
But
confidence.
I am a commitment phobic. So I have to be honest with you and let you know that I have a little bit of a commitment issue because I have so many other commitments. So I have to see, like, I have to sit with it and then I have to see how I feel
I
about any
totally
commitment
respect that.
and then tap into it. Cause that's what I call soul tapping. You got to go with your, um, see what your inner being says when you do something. And to be honest with you, what you're saying, asking me to do is something I've ask the universe to bring someone in my life to do something like that with. But
Okay, you got
so
me.
that's so you just we just I just have to yeah, you put me on the spot and then
Sorry for
on this
that.
live, but I will definitely consider it and I will get back to you on that one because I do want to do something like that because I think that anything that you do every single day strengthens that muscle and I'm actually ready to channel more verbally and receive more information and tune in more. So maybe I will take you up on that offer because why not? I guess I can always make because it only takes minutes. It's not like it takes an hour.
Oh, no. My
No.
idea is to do for like 10, 15 minutes maximum.
Yeah. So I'm just full
It'll
of
be just one
excuses.
question a day. But I'm gonna
So
record it because I want to see how it progress.
So this is a really interesting example of where your instincts kick in as opposed to your intuition or inner being. My instincts are to stay safe. Instincts keep you safe. They keep you in your box. They keep you kind of just where you are. And right when I was told something like that or here, do this, my instincts kicked in and put me in what is it? It's basically fight or flight mode where it's like, oh, something's being asked of you that you
Okay.
weren't
I will
prepared
make it
for.
more comfortable for you.
No,
When you're ready, just let me know. I'm gonna start mine, I think today or tomorrow, because when I decided something I don't like to wait. So I will do mine, and then I still share with you when you have some time, and when you're ready, and then we decide how we do. But and then see, I'm
so
ready to answer questions from a galactic, maybe in my podcast or your podcast, and then we go from there. But
that
I
sounds
just
good.
like to share with you and with everybody how our work, how to say, how a spiritual work takes place. It's not that sometimes if you're not paying attention, you even take for granted. For example, I could possibly say, okay, I had the session with Happy and nothing happened. But because I'm paying attention, it's very clear. I ask a question, I got the answer there, and now I'm applying the answer. So for me, it was very easy, and I just
So
wanted
you're
to share
integrating,
that.
which is really the most powerful part of any kind of practice. You're doing
Yeah,
the integration process. Most people don't do the integration. They do ayahuasca, they do hypnosis, they do all these things where they tap into something and then they come home and they go back to their regular life. They don't really apply it, which is integrating it. So that's kudos to you for integrating.
Thank you. But I always believe that everybody is always doing the best they can with the amount of light and wisdom their soul can currently hold. I heard that from Jesus and I love. And because that's make a lot of sense. So it's always okay. So
I
now
go ahead.
let's talk about the Intuition Bible. Tell us a little bit about you kind of told how that came through, but what really inspired you, what do you want to say about that? It's really a Bible you can carry with you and just open up any page. You can start talking and I'll get my copy.
Well, the Intuition Bible is more of a textbook and a practical guide to tapping into your inner wisdom because right now in the world, there's way too much external information that's coming through. And I really understood why it was so necessary for me to write this book because there's so much information coming at us at so many directions. And it's hard to know what to listen to, what to believe, what to give airtime to. So the essence of why I think, oh, there it is. The essence of why I really feel like this book was given to me was so that I could offer people a way to shut their five senses off, go within and receive information from their inner self, which is basically what we're talking about. And I wanted to let people know that every single human being has the ability to tap into their inner world. And it's not exclusive to some and, only reserved for some and not for others. It's for everybody. So the book is designed to first get all your questions of and doubts out of the way and really solidify your belief that intuition and tapping into your inner wisdom, tapping into your guides, it's something that is for everyone. And then I started explaining how it all works and the details. So it's once the mind understands how everything works, it kind of stops overthinking and then it relaxes a little bit more. And then I got into everything from gut feelings, resonance to clairvoyance, clairaudience, getting messages like that, automatic writing, instant downloads, channeling. So I really covered it all. And it was funny because a lot of the exercises that were given to me, some of them I'd never heard of. I mean, I had some of the stuff in the book I had learned from other people or had seen somewhere or their common practices, but a lot of them I had never heard of. Some of the meditations I didn't. I had to try it myself. I would write it all down and I would look at it. I'm like, oh, is that gonna work? And then I would try it and then I would see, oh wow, I love that one. So I can't take credit for the whole book. I can only take credit for some of the book. I can take credit for putting my hand on the keyboard and letting it
And
basically type.
actually, you can take credit for something even more important. It took a lot of lifetimes for you to come here in a place where you are able to tap in this information. And
Yeah,
also for you to work on yourself and get to the point to receive, even in this incarnation too.
yeah. I would like to. I mean, I guess I mean, I'm really actually happy that society at this time, it's okay to write a book like this and not get
Yeah.
ostracized by the church. So I'm very thankful of society as well. And
Well, we would not talk in this way.
if it was like a
If
200
it
years ago, I
50
would
years
probably
ago.
be burned at a witch trial or something. The things that I teach human magic to my children, how we can manifest anything from nothing. And they believe in human magic and they don't believe in Santa Claus. So it's like to them, there's so many things that
Yeah, that's a
they
good
they
thing.
So they're like human magic. So something, if they asked me, I think last week they asked me about the tooth fairy. Is it real? I said, you know the laws of this world and how it all works. You know how magic works. You know how, being able to create works. Do you think the tooth fairy fits into that world? And they thought about it. They're like, no, human magic is a little bit slower. And for the tooth fairy to come in and do all that, it would require different kind of magic. So I said, you can still believe in it, but it's not, you can, I didn't want to burst their bubble, but they burst their own bubble. I had to then hand them the money instead of hiding it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But when I was walking my dog again, I realized something. Many books, they are multidimensional. What that means? Different people read this book and get different insights. You're gonna get from this book based on the level of awareness that you are on your spiritual evolution, and always pushing a little more as far as you can go at that time. And another interesting thing is you yourself, you read this book today, and then you try it again 2, 3 months later. And then, how I missed that?
Of course.
It was in another dimension, I mean, in another frequency that you were not able to hold at that moment that you read the first time.
I think every single book or every single is that way. It's only because our awareness is only able to, well, I talk about it in the book. We receive
Yeah.
11 million bits of data per second through our senses, inner and outer, and we can only process 50. So about 11 million bits of data gets deleted, distorted, or put to the side or stored in the body. And the 50 that we actually get exposed to or we actually get to process is based on where we are currently, where our belief system is, where the depth of our understanding of the world or whatever we're studying, what we believe, who we believe we are, who we believe the world is, or what we believe the world is. And our belief system is what determines that 50. So when you're reading that book, for example, you're a different person that day than when you read it 3 months from now. So your brain will be like, okay, I'm going to show you a different 50 at this moment. And that's why the books, and because we're peeling each our own layers off like an onion each day. So every time we experience it differently. But I'm glad you've read the book multiple times. Somebody told me they read the book twice yesterday, and I didn't believe them. And I was like,
Why not? I did it too, and I listened to the audiobook. I love listening to the audiobook. You have a very nice voice.
thank you.
And it's like, it's a frequency. So when you listen to the book through happy, you're gonna be healing at the same time. Something will shift in you. So, but I don't recommend it just listen to, have it in your hands because you're gonna want to come back and take a little look and what the subconscious really means, or what
I
about the chakras? It really covers everything in this book.
I really did want it to cover every single facet of the non-physical world. I think the only thing I didn't cover was the Akashic records because I didn't really want to put a title on it. As you can see, there's only one chapter where I talk about titles, and I don't really believe in trying to give a name to something you receive from the non-physical because a lot of times we're not that accurate because we're just giving a name to something that doesn't really have a name because the non-physical world doesn't, first of all, it doesn't speak English. It speaks universal language, which is probably light language is probably the closest thing. And that's why when I received the name Jeremiah, I accepted it. I wrote it down, but I didn't really give it too much weight. I kind of I heard in my head the best name right now we can give you to describe who we are is Jeremiah. And I didn't really say, okay, is it an angel? Is it an archangel? Is it a higher being? Is it a collective? Who I did not question it because I'm keeping it as clean as possible. as untainted as possible, because I don't want to accidentally label it something and not be able to bring in the pure interpretation, even though pure interpretation of non-physical is impossible,
Yeah.
because you're always translating based on your own um, vocabulary, your own beliefs. There's a lot of you that goes into it when you channel. No channel is a pure channel. A pure channel does not exist. It's just spirit. It's a blending of the person who is the channel and who is the information that's being transmitted that we get. So, for example, if Esther Hicks is channeling Abraham and then somebody else channels that same energy, you're going to hear something completely different. The core of the message will be the same, but the way that it's delivered will be completely different because they're two different people, two different sets of vocabulary, two different ways, styles of talking. And then, of course, there's always a little bit of you that comes in diluting the message, but that's fine. That's fine because it's
Yeah.
still way broader than what we normally are bringing through, which is just our own frequency of our soul.
So talking about labeling, something very interesting happened with my galactics. Is- I like to call my galactics like the versions of myself in other dimensions. And I realized that some of them, they are collective consciousness, they don't have name, but they give me names. And I can see clearly, you just made up that name. That's just, for example, I was channel my version from the Blue Avians and then say, okay, give me a name. Say Avet. I say, you're kidding me. Avet. Ave in Portuguese means bird, avian.
Oh,
So
I see. That's cool.
that's made up.
Yeah, but you know what? I
That's a
have
made
to.
up name, but that's okay. I'll take it.
But I really believe that the person that really made it up was your own subconscious because they
Yeah.
gave you some energetic form of the name, and then you had to translate it into words somehow in your brain. And the closest thing your brain could come up with is a vet. So we really most everything we hear, we're making it up on a subconscious level, but not that it doesn't exist. Our subconscious is translating it into words that make sense to us.
Yeah.
So I really think that most of the stuff, like the names, especially the names, are things that are the highest version of us that's physical, um puts it together in a way that would make the most sense, and then so you can go look up a vet and say, oh look, it's avian, because your higher self knows all this stuff and knows your vocabulary, knows everything, and they're like, okay, we're going to give her this. But it's beautiful. I think that's the perfect name, and it is the perfect name. And names actually create a uh, basically a set point, something, so we can communicate. So if I'm calling,
Also, our brain relax and then stop worrying about, so you can start listening to the message. Otherwise, your brain would not accept. You say your subconscious would accept. You say, okay, but I need to have a picture. I need to have something to grab on, and then I can go around. But I need something tangible to hold it.
absolutely, absolutely. That's why I think names are touchstones, is what I meant. They're literally like roadmaps to, a doorway to some energy. And once you label it, then it's easy to get to it. And you're like, okay, I'm talking to you, Yvette. Show up, and that energy goes, directly to Yvette, and Yvette responds to you and gives you messages. When if you don't have a name, you're like, okay, it's whoever my guides are, show up. It's very vague. So it's almost like you're hyper focusing your energy to get information from that source with a
Let's
name.
talk a little, yes, let's talk a little bit about subconscious. What for a person that don't even think about is on the hamster wheel, on the matrix, going to work, getting tired, watching TV, eating junk. How you explain subconscious and what how your subconscious play a role in your daily life and what you experience?
So
Can
are
you
you
explain that to someone that are in the matrix completely.
So
Not
are you telling me, did you say super conscious or conscious?
subconscious. It's
Super
like,
conscious?
yes, the subconscious, the one that make our automatic response for everything.
The subconscious.
Yeah, the subconscious.
Okay, so the subconscious, well, the subconscious is already doing its job all the time. I think that for people who are on autopilot, they're just, you know, the subconscious is running the show. So in order for them to wake up, first of all, they're not watching this anyway.
No,
Those people are they're doing something completely different and probably watching Real Housewives of something, instead of watching anything that's spiritually elevating on a YouTube. But I really think that to be awakened is to realize that you're not your physical body and step out of it and kind of see yourself as this human hardware and software that was biologically created by your soul. That the non-physical world created a playground that is made of biological, basically matter. Everything is, this world is like a video game, and your soul is the player of the avatar that you are, that is you. And when you get too caught up in being the avatar, you're too lost in the game, you're just basically a robot. So it's really important to step out of it and say, hey, okay, this is not reality. Reality is something greater, something bigger. But you really can't have that awakening unless something is triggered within you. And a lot of times it's severe trauma, deaths, something really big, a big divorce, or something that's really ground, that's that something that basically shakes you at the core, is what usually takes people to wake up. And there is no other way. There's nothing I can say to people that can wake them up. Unfortunately, I could take them, like I took you in a hypnosis, in a trance, where they can see a different version of themselves and realize that there's more to them than this physical body. But most of the time, it's those earth shattering moments in life that just wake you up. And then you have the option to become a victim or to become enlightened. And those of us, or those people who are watching this, or are the type of people who would watch this, are the ones who chose the enlightened path, the
yes.
awakened path.
Yes, and I have an amazing question from someone that's watching us. Sorry, something in my throat. The name is Infinite Dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, hi, Happy. Can hypnosis help me to gen genuinely connect to my higher self to the point that I can channel message to myself? I'm on a really I am on a really need of guidance, and I can't see the way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, hypnosis is a great way to get the conscious mind out of the way. Usually, it's your conscious mind right now that is preventing you from knowing where you're supposed to go. You're only as resourceful as the current state that you're in. So if you're feeling confused, lost, uncertain, that is the state, the emotional state that you're in. And your conscious mind can only give you answers that are of that frequency. So when I hypnotize you, for example, I take the conscious mind out of the way. And if you're really good at following directions during hypnosis, like I told Eleonora when we did hers, I said, hypnosis is about following directions and trusting what's coming through and just saying what's on your mind. And because once we hit the subconscious will blurt stuff out that sometimes seemingly makes no sense. And later you're like, oh, that makes sense. And then when you're able to do that, you're able to have a much broader perspective and you can see things from a much larger perspective. And most people, and I would say 95% of people I've hypnotized, were able to reach that version of themselves that was able to receive information. And the only 5% that did not get that deep were people who were questioning it. They were fighting it. All they ended up with was a headache and dizziness. And I have to bring them out. And then we have an actual, because they pay for the session. It's an hour and a half. So I say, okay, if your conscious mind is just too busy giving you a hard time, then we bring you out of it. And then we have an actual session with me because I'm a coach. I help you figure out your life. So I say, if that doesn't work, then we do that. But honestly, 95% of people have been able to tap into something greater. And what that thing is, I cannot tell you because for some people, it's a subconscious. Some people, it's a super conscious. Some people, it is their higher self. And some people, like their grandma comes through. Like I can't, and another person was on another planet receiving information. So like, there's so many different versions of what I've received, but it's definitely more resourceful than the version of you that you know to be you right now. So I definitely suggest it.
Amazing. I hope the answer was
Was it
appropriate.
helpful?
Yeah, let me just see here what she said. Happy, you're gonna have event coming up.
In
She
Los
did,
Angeles.
I think so. Would you like to talk more about the event?
Well, it's a Los Angeles based event, so it's only for people in LA. And I'm really going to be talking about the three things that make life much easier. One is understanding the laws of the universe and how your words and your story make a difference and how the world reacts to you, and not just people, the entire universe and how it arranges things for you. The second one is so important. It's your mental programming. It's the subconscious and how it might not be working for you because of your past programming. And then the third one is to learn what voice you can trust in your head and what voice you cannot trust in your head. Because there is a voice that comes from the human software, the ego, and there's a voice that comes from your soul and something greater. And if you can learn to decipher the difference between those two, it is life changing because you realize, oh, that is not a voice I need to trust. That's just the voice that's allowing me to navigate this life. For example, earlier when we were speaking, as soon as you said 40 days and all that stuff, my doubt kicked in. I was like, no, I don't know if I can commit. I don't want to do all that. I don't want it. That's too much commitment to work with someone else, to be able to have to show up for someone else. So many things came in. And that is the human software. That's my limited way of thinking there's not enough hours in the day, that I can't multitask or I can't do certain things. That I should not listen to. Once I realized, and I was mentioning it, that came from the ego. And when I say the ego, I don't mean like being egotistic. I mean, it came from my human software. Then I said, okay, I can't really trust that. So I need to go and check in with my soul's intelligence and soul tap and see what that says. And whatever that says, I'm going to trust. So that's basically what the talk is going to be about. It's going to be about an hour, 2.5 hours, an hour and 15 minutes of talking, and about the rest of it is just Q&A.
That's amazing. And I already signed up for, and I'll bring some friends with me.
I am very excited. Make sure you RSVP your friends because it's filling up really fast.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's
Actually, is that in your website? I'm having trouble
I
to.
need to put it up on my link tree. Actually, I'm going to put the invite on the link tree. I forgot to do it. And I haven't
Oh,
even, and I'm about to send the mailer out to everyone that's on. If anyone's gone to happyinsights.net and put in, because there's a free hypnosis, like a 45-minute hypnosis on
yeah.
happyinsights.net. And once you download it by putting your email in, then you're on the email list. And then I'm sending an email blast with the link as well. But I do need to
Actually,
add
I
that.
do have the list with me. Can
Go
I
ahead.
put in the description of this live?
Absolutely. I'm going to yeah, I'm gonna send you the link if you don't have it.
Actually,
Um,
have you sent me before? That's how
okay,
I was.
perfect. And then I'm gonna put it on my link tree so it's on there so people can easily
Yeah.
find it.
I think that I didn't explain well about the 40 days. Are you gonna be do by myself? You do by yourself anytime you can. It's not together.
Oh, I know that, but
We
we're
can,
checking in
okay, we can
together.
come out together just to check and see how it go, and maybe one day we can do it together.
Yeah,
But it's
no, I
not,
understood that. No, I didn't
okay,
misunderstand that.
okay,
I
just
understood that correctly.
okay.
No, I got that part for sure.
All right. So we are about almost 1 hour, and you did a session with me. Would you like to give an insight to people about, or you're not ready to do to
What do you
talk?
mean? What do you mean? To do what?
Um, we exchange services, and
Mhm.
I did a Reiki session with you this week.
Oh,
I
that was
did
amazing. Yes. You did a really cool session where you balanced my chakras and worked on my body and it was really amazing. It was very, very soothing. I actually have such a hard time getting to that deep meditation state, and your um session was amazing in terms of getting me in a very good state. Um and that's another homework that I have is I have to listen to your recorded session multiple times to be able to work on each chakra, each or it was 3 days per chakra, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, it's 3 days for chakra. It's program that I have to align all your 7 chakras. So each one in 3 days. And there is many ways that you can participate on this program. One is I have it already pre-recorded that you can just buy on my services on the shop, or you can also just become a member on my website. It's only for $22. The first month is free. So in 2 months, you can do the alignment of the chakras. If you want, you can leave.
I love
And
that.
also, you can participate in a group session. There will be a workshop that I can also do that, or a private session like I did with Happy.
Yeah, which was great. I really recommend it. I really do.
Yeah, it's been very powerful. People are really changing their life based on that program. And the more you put into, more you get.
That's with everything in life, right?
Yeah,
I really believe like it's we got to take responsibility for everything in our lives. Um because that's what's going to what we put in is what we get. That's basically
yeah.
it.
And looking at the other way, that's mean that we are not a victim, that you are responsible, and we have the power to change anything in our life.
Absolutely.
So we are about 1 hour. Do you have very open? Would you like to talk about anything else before the departure message?
Well, I just want to share one thing, which is what I always see people having issues with in life, and that's worthiness. A lot of people don't feel that they're worthy of the things that they want, and they're not good enough, and they don't have enough resources, and that their situation is so bad or so dire that there's no way out. And I want to just simply say that, first of all, we are all essence of God or universe, the source. And so that makes us already worthy of everything. There's never a baby that chooses not to cry when it's hungry because it knows it's worthy of food. So as adults, we forget that. And also, if your situation was in so bad that there was no way out, you'd be dead. The soul does not invest its energy and resources into a body and to keep it alive and to focus on it if there is no hope. If once it hits no hope, your soul's like, I'm out. You get hit by a car, you leave. So if you're alive, you're worth everything you ever wanted. Every desire is valuable. Don't sell yourself short. The universe is not on a budget. So make sure when you're asking for things, you're not restricting what you want based on what you think can happen. Be open, be creative, be the God that you are on a human level. So that's what I would like to share.
Thank you so much. It's very powerful and really take to heart because that's can really it's just a shift of consciousness. when you shift what you believe to be true, and then everything is possible. Or if you can think about, and then you know you deserve, the universe is just give it to you. That's how powerful we are and as made as image of God, not that guy on the cloud manipulating and pointing fingers, but the loving, creative, and self-expression energy that permeates everything that exists, including us. That's what it really means to be the image of God. Being creative, being expression of unconditional love. And that's who you really are. Thank you so much, Happy. That was amazing to have you here today.
Thank you for having
And
me.
let's continue co-creating together.
Sounds
Much
good.
love and light for each one of you. If you have any question for Happy, just you know how to find me. You can put in the description of this video or go to my website, the contact page, visit Happy's website too if you want to learn more about his services. Happy, I'm sorry to put you in the spot just one more time. Would you have would you have any discount for whoever wants to have a service with you maybe for 1 week? And look, I saw the interview. I really love it. I wanted to have a session with you.
Um, since you put me on the spot, I can do it like a 20% discount for the next week for anybody who wants to do anything. What you have to do though, because I don't have the a code set up because this was a very spontaneous question, you'd
Sorry,
have to
just
email in
nodded my head.
you have to email info info at happyinsights.net, 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 info at happyinsights.net, and
Isn't
say I
it?
watched the Awakening Path and Awakened Path
Yeah,
um
yeah, we can touch.
and I want this service, but I want to use the 20% discount. Can you send me a code? And I'll be happy to send you a code.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And sorry for putting you in the spot, but when I hear things in my head, I know I'm supposed to do it. And maybe someone wanted that. So I just deliver the message. I always do
Well,
that.
I'm glad to be of service.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Happy. And as I said, it's not a goodbye forever. We will
We'll talk to
continue
you soon.
working together and hope to see you again here.
Thank
Much
you.
love
Have a
and
good one.
light
Take
for
care.
all of you. And see you next time.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Let me go here, YouTube. All right.